Hello, everyone, and welcome to the TI Recap final day. And I can say proudly, Team Spirit are your TI 2026 champions. And Yatoro has his third Aegis, but Vision made him fight through this. And we had an incredible 5 games grand final to solve that thing. However, let's go back a bit. We do have, first off, we have the first game of the day, which was the lower bracket final. So in the lower bracket, we had Yandex versus Team Spirit. Yandex, who have been the final boss to Team Spirit's whole season yet, they've been stopping Team Spirit consistently from winning a tier 1 tournament. So will Team Spirit actually go through this one? Yeah, they did. First game, it went quite nicely. Yandex put a lot of priority on the Nature's Prophet. They even flexed it to support later on. That didn't work out at all in their favor, let's be honest about that one. However, game number 2, after Spirit played it out convincingly, Yandex went for Nature's Prophet again. However, it just didn't work out in their favor, to be honest. They were just struggling to find the fights, while Spirit was actually going on with the plays, figuring out what they want to do. Yatoro beat Watson in a 1v1 later on in the game, and that was kind of like the point where you just found out, like, yeah, this is done. And then Spirit closed out this with a team wipe. Yandex wished them good luck for the final. And with that, Spirit went into a 2-0. Then we had a bit of a short break. I think it was about an hour or two. I don't remember how long it was. We had a bit of a break, and after that, we went into the grand final. And the story writes it almost itself, honestly. We have Vision, who have not dropped a single series the whole tournament, went into the grand final doing that. Mostly they dropped one match, which was normal for the best of 3, to be honest. However, Spirit dropped after losing to Vision into the lower bracket and just went on a tear, went 2-0, 2-0, 2-0, completely through that one. Then we had Spirit playing on that one. Of course, we do have the storyline as well of King Yatoro versus the Prince Satanic. And technically both are, funnily enough, on the paycheck of Spirit in a way, because as far as I understand right now, Satanic is on loan from Spirit to Vision, so that's kind of a funny other part about that one. However, we had a lot of things going on in the first game. We had Rue's support being really good. On Disruptor, he was having the glimpses of a lifetime. He was glimpsing a lot of people back and forth. Ruined quite a bit of the playstyle that Vision wanted to go for, especially since they put Laurel on the... not Laurel, no one on the IO, which was a big part of the issue, I would say, right now, because, well, the IO just didn't work out, and the relocations were kind of sabotaged through that. It had to be BKB with the relocates to actually get out of the fight. And then we had Yatoro just being a beast on the Shadow Fiend, which felt really interesting about that one. And it was so big that 9 class on the Hoodwink was a 3-hit. Was a 3-hit just to be out of there. Well, that's what kind of happened out of that one. And then we got the 1-0 there for Spirit, so that meant quite a bit. Game number 2, we went in 1-0 up for Spirit, so then we got the Vision playing quite nicely, but they had a very rough start, to be honest, because Rue played a support axe, which was very fun. I gotta be honest about that. Ran in, got the taunts in, especially with the double layer jump engage that they had with the axe on support, and then they had to slot our mid, so everybody had a chance to jump there. Then Spirit kind of lost control a bit around a point that Yatoro kind of got a bit overconfident, died twice, giving Vision the breathing room. And it was one fight that was a really amazing fight. If you watch that game, you know what fight I'm talking about, the one where Yatoro basically survives on 10% HP for half the fight, just walking around, surviving, his teammates giving him as much HP as possible to make him survive there. The gold graph then went at some point very insane, with just going up and down, up and down. And honestly, no one on their spirit found towards the end found the magnetize to really force a lot of pressure out of there. Yatoro tried to get the divine rapier and the blink. However, Vision still found the way to get on top of Yatoro and took him out, and that led to the GG in that game. So game 2 goes to Vision for that one. It was a very fun series, gotta be honest, one. And that was then going into game number 3. Game number 3 was very memorable for me as somebody who likes to play Marcy. 9 class picked up the Marcy. Marcy has not been picked or banned in the whole tournament yet, so it was very surprising to pull that one into the third match of the grand final when you're kind of in a 1-1 situation. But it didn't look too bad. The problem was just put the rebounds to save your teammates. That was basically the whole job that they gave 9 class for the game, which I feel like kind of makes the whole Marcy a bit lackluster, because sometimes you do want to jump in, you want to get on top of somebody, just punch their faces, and to be honest, just how it is with Marcy. But then again, Spirit played this very well. They had the better positioning, and it just didn't work out because honestly, the Vision team had to play into that style and just got on top of them. It didn't really work out. And if one of your engaged supports, in this case Marcy, is just on bodyguard, rebound safety duty, you kind of give up quite a bit for that one. So it was a bit of an awkward one, to gotta be honest about that one. However, that led to Spirit going up 2-1. Then we went into a longer break before we went into game number 4. Game number 4 was kind of an interesting one, gotta be honest about that one, because we had first the longer break after that game, and that was something Vision really took something out of, because they got pretty good with that play around it completely. They got on top. They brought out the Sand King and the Keeper of Light, and that helped them out quite a bit. They got a lot of pressure on that one. Winter Wyvern made an appearance in this matchup, which is very weird because right now in the meta, the Wyvern is kind of a counter for the Lone Druid, but the Lone Druid was nowhere to be seen the whole tournament, the whole matchup. So it's kind of a bit awkward for that one. Vision made kind of some mistakes. It was an overall dominant performance, and with that, we head into the final game, the decider, game number 5. So when game number 5 rolls around, and Vision give the whole Chinese crowd a flashback from last year, they last pick Juggernaut, and kind of an awkward situation. It didn't look bad. Vision exploded out of the gate, got a lot of kills on top of the whole they're a team who were lacking pretty much in the early game. They didn't really find their footing, but later on, it kind of got to a point where Vision kind of lost control over that one. After slowly recovering, they gave a Lotus to Yatoro so that the Omni Slash doesn't go through and that gets countered well. And it slowly developed out of that game that Spirit kind of found their footing further and further. And then in the late game, we had a big fight about that one. And the problem is, which is a Juggernaut problem, to be honest, there was an illusion there. And that took quite a few hits from the Omni Slash, causing the last Omni Slash to go a bit off there. Meaning that it gave Spirit the chance to move forward. They won the match with that, and then Spirit just kind of took off there, win the match, go 3-2 out of that one. Gotta say, honestly, it was a very fun series. If you got time, look at that matchup. All 5 games have even an own story for themselves, and it was pretty great to see this whole thing about it. Now some overall thoughts about this completely. I gotta say, it was a fun tournament generally. I had an enjoyment going through the Swiss stage, recapping everything, going through the brackets, recapping everything, just overall enjoying the Dota here. Maybe it would be nice if it wasn't in like 4 in the morning starts off there. I did skip some series, honestly, to rather focus on my sleep than really go about it. But another thing I got a few things that I can point out really. There was a lot of tournament experience on the side of Spirit, with Lara being there for the second time in the TI finals, Yatoro and Collapse being there for the third time. The supports were new there, so that was something. Mishpoka was there as well. Mishpoka? I can't say that name. I'm just bad with those names, honestly. But yeah, that was pretty nice as well. Got a lot of experience on the other side. Vision was kind of like the new team on the block in that kind of case, because Satanic wasn't in the grand final yet. You didn't have anybody really in the grand final with the experience on the side of Vision, except Puppy, who was the captain. And he did a good job, but he just kind of felt like in some points he got outdrafted. As I said, the Marcy was kind of an issue, especially how Marcy was played, I would say, more than really the Marcy itself. And then the Juggernaut last pick in the game of 5, it's kind of an awkward one. And Vision had a great run up to then. They did well there. They won every series till the grand final, which is a bit of an awkward situation, to be honest, about that one. As I said, Spirit went 2-0 through all the group. We had then, of course, Vision were the team who really stopped this leveled up Spirit. Surprisingly enough, Spirit Yatoro didn't sacrifice his hair to the Dota gods this time. They only took the beard of not me, which is kind of funny. And I would say I feel like it opens a serious conversation. I did see that Seb from OG tweeted out that the GOAT discussion is over, because now we gotta say that the best team right now, and probably in all of Dota history, is Spirit. I would say OG still have a bit of an option to talk about that one, because I feel like Spirit lack one thing, and only one thing, honestly. They haven't won back-to-back TIs, and I feel like that is what really puts OG a bit apart. But Spirit 3 times in the final, 3 times take the trophy home. I feel like that's really nicely done. And I would say it's very interesting. Spirit won 3 TIs in 5 years. That's something about that one. But we gotta look at how it goes on. And I would say the Spirit team, if they can stay together, we'll see what they can do, really. And then, last but not least, gotta say, Spirit earned this one. Yandex just gave them rough and tumble stuff. Vision just fell over, and it was a great grand final in general. And just for myself in general about this whole run with TI, I had a lot of fun. I'm probably going to do one more tournament. It's not going to be Dota, but I'm going to do another tournament this year as well. We'll try to do as much coverage as possible, and probably not fully as I did TI, because I had the time for that one. I took some time off of work and everything. But anyway, anybody who watches this, thank you so much for watching this. Thank you for following this journey with me for these 2 weeks. And oh yeah, I will do a recap of my predictions later on this week, probably Thursday, maybe Friday. We'll see how it goes. But anyway, thank you so much for watching. Like and subscribe if you want to, and hope to see you in the next one. Bye bye.